Hello, Mr. White.
Hey, Miss Singleton.
How you doing?
How you doing? The press conference is about to start. Where are you at?
Okay.
I'm on my way.
Okay, see you soon. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's press conference. Mr. White is en route, and I'll be happy to take any questions that you may have.
Madam Secretary, is it true that Mr. White supports DLM?
Well, dope lyrics do matter.
Madam Secretary, is Chris White the future of rap music?
As a matter of fact, here he is right now.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Good evening, everyone. All right, I'd like to welcome you all to my press conference today. Thank you, Madam Secretary, for holding it down. I see we have a lot of representation from the press. Do I have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. White. My question is, our world is in such a state of confusion. How are your dope lyrics going to bring clarity and healing?
You know what? Let me say it like this.
Okay.
Check, 1, 2. I figured since we live where morals no longer matter, shout out to all the conservatives who voted for the pudding grabber. Rapper and pastor, I don't care if you're fake. You could get this work, I don't discriminate. Pardon moi, but ever since my man died, I realized life is way too short. I don't have time to play. Every time I ever bit my tongue, I felt pain. And they say it's insane to keep doing the same thing. So I'ma let it hang and let the chips fall. Forget y'all feelings when y'all ain't never done nothing to feed my children. Refuse to lift a finger when they see me building. Now they wanna kick their feet up in my man cave. Chillin', leaning all on the sofa with a drink on the coaster, inching closer cause they keep seeing my name on the posters, posting like their own team when they wouldn't even stream and share my music with their friends when I was trying to get exposure, asking, hey, when can I come over, get in the studio? Never, not near it one time. You know where you could go, don't make me say it. I'ma stay saved like K-Joe. About my business though, I'ma stay paid and lay low. With a bag of chips, I dip in crypto. I blow the whistle on violators, I earn my stripes. I'm the official, I can wipe my hind part with the game like a tissue, but I have nothing to prove. So really, it's not an issue. Steps are ordered on a mission. God told me to come and get you. So rest in peace, Carolina Black dude, I miss you. And I'ma drop your name every now and then just to keep your legacy alive. Make sure they never forget you. So much promise and potential. To me, you were instrumental. Saturated in my vision like an oil that's essential in this. Readers or leaders call me Mr. Fundamental Tim Duncan. But instead of buckets, I be dropping wisdom I gain. Spending time in his presence with the scriptures on the canvas of your mind. I'm great to paint a picture so vivid. These lines like 1,000 words. I'm so ahead of my time that I sound absurd. While some were hunting rhyming words, nouns and verbs, I was being humiliated, learning how to serve. Practice, I hold the title of a trill MC. Now we can both wear the belt, but to what degree? My penmanship was found in the depths of the sea. There are levels I don't think you wanna go this deep. Now double check yourself before you wreck yourself. I handle disrespect like, oh my drink. With a fist full of hair, I'ma keep it funky with you, put your nose in it. Since you think stuff don't stink, rock comes before a fall. If you're feeling gigantic, remember the Titanic. Now let that sink.
One, two, 1, 2. Hope y'all enjoyed that music video. That's one of my old singles. Remember the Titanic. Anyways, that was of course written, recorded, and produced by me. With a beat was produced by my man out of Chicago, Earl Brown, and my dude out of Greenville actually shot and edited the video for me. But anyways, man, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Jaden,
How you
back
doing,
to the
sir?
building. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain.
All right, all right. I like that hoodie, man.
Yeah, and they see
I ain't see that. I ain't see that. What time the Lakers play tonight?
All right, yeah, come on now.
Oh,
You know we home.
come on now. Oh, what you mean y'all home?
You know it's not Lakers in 5 no more. It's Timberwolves in 5.
I thought it was Ant-Man, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. You know what I'm
Come
saying?
on, man.
Lakers in 5. It wasn't Lakers in 5?
We had a rocky season, but it's all good.
All right, man. I thought, you know what I'm saying? I thought your GOAT.
No.
He's still your GOAT?
He's still the GOAT. Come on now. I'm trying to smile through the pain. So I'm trying to keep the show, I'm trying to be good here now.
All right. All right. I don't want you to get out of pocket on me in front of everybody, man. And but yeah, man. But how about the Knicks, man? The Knicks won. They won that first game against Boston, and so I think the game might be going on now. Game 2. So I haven't been keeping up on the score. But yeah, man. But I'm glad you're back with me this week, man. And I think we got a good one for tonight, man. I'm looking forward to the people on the sidelines chiming in. If y'all are able to see us on Facebook or on YouTube, definitely let us know where you're watching from, like what city you rep in, what state or whatnot, and we appreciate you. Tonight we're going to be talking about a topic. There's a lot of things that happened this week, but this is something that I've been wanting to talk about, for a while anyways. And I'm just going to put the banner up to let y'all know what we're going to be discussing tonight. And that is the question: do Black lives matter to Black people? Do Black lives matter to Black people? And so whether you white, black, purple, green, rainbow, or whatever, if you're tuning in tonight, I'd love to hear your comments or feedback, or if you feel strongly about something and you want to come up on screen, let me know and I'll inbox you the link, and we'd love for you to join us. But yeah, so the first question is, do Black lives matter to Black people? You may ask, like, why would I even ask a question like that? Okay. Because a lot of people, they like to turn to Black people when we protest against violence against Black people, or whenever a Black person gets unalived at the hands of police or another race. The response is always, or not always, but the response is often, well, why don't y'all ever say anything about all the Black on Black crime, that goes on in the Black community? And so we're going to touch on that tonight. And I think that's a fair question to ask. It's like, if you get upset when something happens to Black people at the hands of another race, why don't you get, equally as upset when something happens to Black people at the hands of other Black people? And so as we move along, I want to start by sharing a quote from one of the dopest artists out there. He's killing the game right now, Kendrick Lamar. But in one of his older songs, I think he dropped this back in 2015, called Black and Berry. The last line of that song was really powerful, and it kind of goes along with the topic that we're talking about tonight. And here's a quote from Kendrick Lamar in Black and Berry. He says, "So why did I weep when Trayvon Martin was in the street? When gangbanging kill, when gangbanging make me kill a nigga blacker than me."
You know, he said he called himself a hypocrite because he's saying, say out loud what a lot of people think and some people say, but it's like, okay, when Trey Martin was unalived, we got upset. We protested. We marched. Some of us vandalized. You know what I'm saying? We were definitely very emotional because we had a reason to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are hurting each other as a race in our neighborhoods every single day.
Every day.
And it's not always a lot said. Sometimes it's nothing said. And it's just perpetual, you know what I'm saying? It continues to happen over and over and over. What are your thoughts about that quote and what we've been talking about so far, Jaden?
So far, I believe that, first of all, I like to say that Kendra is one of my favorite rappers alongside with Drake.
You said you like Drake?
Yeah, alongside of Drake.
Nah, I ain't
Old Drake, not new Drake, old Drake. It's a different.
All Drake is whack, but go ahead, continue.
Whatever. But I believe that one, he's spot on because this is a everyday experience with Black people in the community, and I also believe that when we say we don't say the loud part out loud, or
the quiet part out loud.
We don't say that, because when we see a white person shoot a Black person, we are all hell want to break loose. Excuse my French. I didn't.
No, you're good. You're good.
And but when somebody, let's just say for an example, kill somebody in the projects or something, or in Kinston or whatever, they tend to, look at it as another. Oh well, he just died over something. And sometimes we kill each other over the littlest things, that could really be prevented for a whole nother way. We tend to have this narrative about, well, if he said something about my mom, or he did something about this to my girl, or he did this or did that and third, they don't fight no more. They shoot. So
right.
It could be the most littlest things, and we still kill each other. So that he was saying that it's hypocrisy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the way the fact that you brought out the fact that a lot of the things that lead to the unalivement of Black people in our neighborhoods is petty stuff, that could easily be prevented sometimes. You definitely brought up a valid point. I want to bring up another quote that was on my man Khayyam's page on Facebook. He actually put up a quote from Charleston White. I don't know if you're familiar with Charleston White. And so you laughing, so you're familiar with him. He has a lot of videos, but matter of fact, I could probably add him to the list tonight. But Charleston White, he did say something that was kind of thought-provoking. So I want to share it with the audience tonight and see what everybody thinks about this as well. Charleston White says, nobody has more refuge than a murderer in the Black community.
Wow.
He says nobody has more refuge. And that word refuge like is another word for protection or cover. Yeah. Like you could be in the Black community and be out here just making a name for yourself for all the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. But Charleston White says that that person, you know, in the black community is protected more than anybody by the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that, Jaden?
Well, first, I like to say that with Charleston White, even though he could be hilarious at times, I don't really agree with a lot of things that he be saying. But although that, you know, that's just right. He had a right to say what he want to say. So, but with that, I could not more agree with him on that, because in a sense, I don't want to go too far, but in a sense, we do protect our own when it comes to once we murder somebody in the same race as us. We do protect, because when stuff happens and the police and law enforcement is involved, we don't tell on them. You know, we don't, you know, we might have witnessed the whole thing and we don't say nothing. So, you know, no, you know, we do cover our own. You know, I'm not gonna tell on you. I seen that you killed Pookie and them, but I'm not gonna tell on you because, you know, snitching. You know, I don't want to be labeled snitching. I don't want people in the neighborhood to be in our business or let the neighbors know or know that I'm a snitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so that it's all about that. So I couldn't agree more with Charleston White.
So you bring up another point. In these neighborhoods where things like this are happening, do you think it's more so people are just being straight hypocrites because they don't care? Or do you think people are most quiet about stuff because they're afraid of consequences?
It's not that people don't care. Okay, it could be both ways. But the one I lean towards is when in the community, when you see people do things like fights or whatever, fights break out, even in school.
Mm-hmm.
When you see that people that you know get involved in controversy or conflict, we tend to not try to get ourselves involved into their drama. You know how, example, you know how we're even in school, you seen it as much as I did, that when people get in fights and drama, people, they know who did what, but they're not going to say how it happened. And the principal be asking, you know, what happened. They say they don't know the whole time. They know everything. That's the type right there. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to be labeled as he run and tell everything. They want to be trusted amongst the people that, you know, they want to be trusted amongst people that's, you know.
That makes sense. And when you said that, man, it made me think also, some things I already know from experience, you know what I'm saying, and you know, just like you, but sometimes I'm asking questions just to provoke you know what I'm saying, thoughts. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Because what I was gonna say was because they got to go back home and live into that environment. It's all about where you come from and what you see. So people, to survive, people tends to stay to themselves. And you know how, you know, people say, well, I'm gonna mind my business on this one, because they don't know that that's what they have to live through. Yeah. In order they find a way out, they have to live through that in order to survive the struggle. So,
you know, you made me think of something else, like when people would get into fights at the school, at the high school or whatnot, people on the outside would be like, well, why you don't just tell the principal? Why you don't just tell the teacher? And in the schools, it's like the students who have to actually live and function in that environment, they're like,
they have no confidence in the teacher or the administration to protect them. And so that's why a lot of times in the schools they don't say anything. And then on the flip side, or on another side, it's the same way in the community where they be like, a lot of people be like, well, why you don't go to the police? Well, you don't go to the police, huh?
They don't trust them.
Yeah,
They don't trust them. So they don't trust people who they don't trust the narrative, or they don't trust.
Yeah, they don't. I get it. They don't trust the police to protect them,
Mhm.
and it's like you said, people got to go back home.
Yeah,
You know,
gotta
and
go home.
and live in the same environments. And I'm gonna bring it back to the school thing again. I remember, when I was teaching, that
Yeah.
there would be students getting in a fight, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen things with my own eyes where I'm like, the student who was on the offensive, they need to be sent somewhere else. Like they shouldn't be in the school with normal people who come to school to get an education. You know what I'm saying? If they come to school to disrupt, to terrorize, so to speak. And so, but the thing is, the reality is, most of the time when those fights and things happen, the students will get a slap on the wrist and then they be right back with the population of students.
Mhm.
And the students are looking like, wow, he did all of that, and the only thing he got was a couple of days home, and now he's back. It's like some things are so offensive. It's like if people commit a certain crime or break certain rules, it's like they have to be consequences. And when people see that there are no consequences, they lose confidence that anything's going to be done.
Right.
So then they get to the point to where my name is Bennett and I ain't in it.
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing.
Mm-mm.
But at the end though, when we talk about crime, which is our topic tonight, where we talk about do Black lives matter to Black people, to those on the outside looking in, they think that y'all just not saying anything. Why aren't y'all saying anything? If y'all complain when stuff happens, a white person attacking a Black person, why don't you complain when a Black person attacks a Black person? And we know the reality is a lot of people don't say anything because they are fearful. You know what I'm saying? Just plain and simple, they're fearful.
Yeah.
And they don't trust the police or anybody else to protect them. And they have good reason, because sometimes it's the police who are doing the harm. So it's kind of like a catch-22 when it comes to Black people. And that's not saying that everybody thinks the same way or does the same thing, but the majority of people be quiet because they simply don't want any of that smoke coming to them.
Yeah, and certain people, like they be like, "Oh, why?" That's the reason why the forthcoming of homicides. That's the reason why cops don't get a lot of answers, because they're afraid, and they have to go public because people not coming forth. And honestly, people not coming forth, and that's why they try to, I don't know if you've seen all the reward money.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to make it anonymous where people don't have to tell who they name or whatever. They just give up a name and here they come, or they got to investigate the matter. So it's like,
yeah, nobody's going for that, because we all know, no matter what that award is, in order for somebody to get convicted, you know what I'm saying, some paperwork got to come forward.
Yeah.
And also when that paperwork come forward, it's got to be seen by the defense as well as the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And so you know what I'm saying, people were born on a day, not today or yesterday, and they just not going for that. And so we're really in a rough place, man, where people don't trust the police, so all they can do is be quiet about the things that happen in the community.
Yeah, and that's where, and I didn't mean to cut you off, and that's where trauma and PTSD come from. That's where building a sense of, if I could say this the way I just had it in my head, that comes the sense of not trusting everybody, not keeping your circle small. It comes from not letting everybody in your business, and being quiet comes to the fruition of, well, if I know you stole some oranges and you tell me not to tell nobody that you stole these oranges or you gonna hurt me, then I'm gonna be quiet because I'm gonna take your threat seriously. So we come to that point where you mind your business. That's the best way I could put it, because they want you have enough fear over me where it is as if I go say something, the word's gonna get out that I've said something, because a criminal gonna know what was said and how it got out. So you know.
Yeah. Hey, my boy Ronald Smith. Hey, what's up, Ron? Hey, man, I missed y'all last night, man. I've been working so much, man. I when I got in, man, I took a shower and crashed, man. I think I woke up tomorrow. I slept so long, man. But but yeah, man. But Ronald Smith said, I like what Charleston White said. What has Black people in the last 50 years accomplished collectively? No doubt. That is a good question. My only thing about Charleston White is sometimes like he's a character that he play on the internet because he's trying to run those numbers up because he's getting a check from YouTube and all these social medias. So sometimes he's saying the right things, and then sometimes he's saying the wrong things, and he contradicts himself. And so I could respect him a lot more if he was consistent. Right. But at the same time, he's also
he said a lot of foolish stuff.
Yeah. He says some wise things sometimes, and then sometimes he's part of the problem because he's saying
he's a hypocrite.
Yeah, he's being a hypocrite.
He's been what Kendra's rapping about.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to bring too much energy of what he got to say, because you know, for all I'm gonna say is for the last 50 years, you know, if we go back in time, last time I checked, you know, we had a first Black president. We're not in segregation. You know, people before him and even before me and you bled and died for us to have civil rights. So, you know, we still got work to do. But to say what has we accomplished over the last 50 years, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I actually like the question because it's thought provoking. What has Black people in the last 50 years accomplished collectively? Right. That's a valid question, but also you got to ask, why haven't Black people accomplished a lot collectively in the past 50 years? You know, and even if you go back 50 years, because if you go back 50 years, now we're like around the 60s, and and you're looking at with the 70s, but if you go back and you look at the 60s and the 70s, you had the civil rights movement and a lot of progress was made. But even when that progress was being made, there were some people who were not a part of the program. There were always some people who were sellouts. There were always some people who didn't want to buy in. There was always some people who were afraid. It's usually a handful, a small handful of people who are doing the work. It's just like what they call it, the 20-80 rule. It's usually 20% of the people who are putting in the muscle and making the sacrifices.
Right.
and then 100% of the people get the benefit from it. And I would reverse that on Charleston White, because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like what have you done? And I know he, from his history,
And trolling on the internet. That's what he's accomplished, bro.
But this is the thing. He do some good things in the community, but it's like
What you say outweighs what you do.
Yeah, your negative sometimes outweigh your positive.
Actions might speak louder than words, but whatever these two comes out outweighs more than what you do in the community.
Yeah, and in his case, his words are speaking much louder than his actions.
Yeah.
And I even watched the history of his videos and stuff like that. And one of the things that he said is that he started out just being a community activist, trying to be a guy, you know what I'm saying, doing good stuff in the community. But he said when he was doing good stuff in the community, nobody really was paying him any attention. Maybe like we're doing tonight. We're up here and we're trying to keep it positive. And a lot of times when you're trying to keep it positive, you know what I'm saying,
you're not gonna engage.
Yeah.
If I say something about, somebody mama, and pull up a fight video.
World star, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's like when you're doing something positive or trying to do something positive, it's hard to get some motion going because people don't really want to get on that. And I remember when I was in school, man, if I had beef with somebody, man, all I had to do was be like, yo, I got beef with so and so, or these jokers tried to jump me or whatever, and people don't ask no question. They just come running ready to fight.
Yeah,
they just come like they willing to help. But these same people, it's like later on in life when my frontal lobe is more developed, and I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to put on this fundraiser. I'm trying to do this in the community. I'm trying to do that, and I'm like, yo man, I need y'all to support. I need y'all to come out. And it's like crickets. You know what I'm saying? You don't, you know what I mean? You don't get the support you need when it's something positive. But when you on the wrong type of time, people quick to man, I'm ready to fight. And this is the thing, man. They not fighting because they love you. They fighting because they just love to fight.
Yeah, and they like drama.
They like drama.
They like drama.
Absolutely, man. So look, what I want to do is, man, I'm gonna keep it moving, man. I want to share, because we're talking about hypocrites, and I'm gonna bring up the quote from Kendrick Lamar one more time. He says, "So why did I weep when Trayvon Martin was in the street, when gang banging make me kill a nigga blacker than me? Hypocrite." So and in this song, Kendrick Lamar even called himself a hypocrite. But he was speaking on the behalf of black people. He's saying, so we, on one hand, we want to protest and we want to better not nobody, mistreat our people, or we coming, we want all the smoke. But then on the other hand, it's like when we are harming ourselves as a people, everybody's quiet. So you're being a hypocrite. Now, I want to share what the Bible says, how we do every week. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some Jesus in it. All right. So I'm going to share what the scriptures say, or what Jesus had to say about hypocrites. Okay. It says here, Matthew chapter 7, verse 4 through 5. And verse 4, he says, or how will you say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye. So when he talked about a mote, it's like a speck of dust, like a speck of sawdust. It's like, hey man, you got some dust in your eye. Now I need to get that dust out of your eye, man, because you can't see straight because of that dust in your eye. But then he went on to say in verse 5, Jesus said, you hypocrite. He said, first cast a beam, not a mote, a beam. A beam is equivalent to probably like a 2x4. Yeah. So you walking around with a 2x4 in your eye, but you trying to point the finger or get the speck of dust out of somebody else's eye. And he says, He says, "Thou hypocrite, you hypocrite! First cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye." So now,
basically, it's like self-reflection. You know,
yeah,
you got to talk about yourself before you got to fix yourself before you try to fix somebody else.
yeah. The Williams brothers had a song that said, "Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine."
Okay,
You know-
now you just tell your age.
You know what I'm saying? No, I just showed that I'm wise in history, man. You can know something more than just your generation. See, that's why all you know is mumble rap, and you think LeBron is the GOAT because you need to go watch some MJ tapes. You need to go watch "Come Fly with Me." I'm gonna have to get you a.
See, wait,
I'm
I
gonna
got shit up now. Hold on.
Look. I'm gonna have to go find
You can't.
Well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna have to find you a VCR so you can watch some Jordan tapes, but it's on YouTube.
I'm gonna burn them. You gotta
It's on
burn
YouTube.
them. Burn them tapes.
Come on, man.
I mean, you. Here you go. Here you
Look.
go. You trying to be petty.
Listen, man. Don't try to accuse me of black on black.
You gotta cast out the beam out of your own eye. You know, before you try to come at me.
Hey, look, man. All I know is the Knicks and the Celtics is playing tonight.
You know,
and,
man.
and Denver and who else is playing tonight? OKC.
Denver, OKC.
And LeBron ain't nowhere in the picture,
Hey,
man. That's all I know.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
All right, back to Live Extra, man. You trying to distract me, man. You trying to distract me.
You come on now.
You the one. Hey, you the one wore that shirt with the 23 on it, man. So
I know who you purple and gold. We know who the gold is. I'm gonna get back on top of you.
Yeah. You're right. 23. You know what I'm saying, Jordan. 23.
Yeah,
you got that part right. All right. So listen. All right. Back to Jesus, man. You trying to get me distracted? He said, "Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thy own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly to cast the mote out of thy brother's eye." So here's my question right here, man. Do black people need to focus on getting our stuff together before we can say anything about other people and how they treat us? Do we have a right to speak out about how other people treat us when we don't have our stuff together ourselves?
That's a good question. But also, I can ask you this: do we have the right to judge others?
Do we have the right to judge others? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a right to judge.
We do, but I gotta disagree. Why I say that is because we don't. It's trained.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's all good.
That we don't have us together.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like that. If I don't have all my stuff together, why do I have the right to talk about what you got going on? I can't. That's just me. That's how I am. I don't want to judge you for something that that had nothing to do with me. That's just me. I don't like to judge.
But the reason why I disagree with you on that part is because when it comes down to judging, the Bible says that we have the ability to judge as believers. Right. Some people misquote that scripture when they say, "Judge not, lest you be judged." But the Bible says that we would judge, that we would even judge angels. And it don't even make common sense to say not to judge, or that judging is wrong, because we have literal judges, and when people commit crimes, they go before the judge. You can't go commit a murder or breaking and entering or whatever, and then go to the courthouse and say, "You got to let me go free because the Bible said don't judge." You know what I'm saying? And the Bible saying that judge is a misinterpretation and misunderstanding of the scriptures. We are supposed to judge, but when we judge, we're supposed to judge righteously and not.
That's what I was trying to say. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm
gonna judge you later about that LeBron and Jordan. I'm gonna go see. I caught you there.
We might have to do a show. We might have to do a show just on
the GOAT debate, man. And you know what I'm saying? Just
Don't
just
do
going
that.
to huh?
Don't do that. Don't
Just
do
going
that.
just going to settle it. But you know what? I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to embarrass you in front of all
You're
the
not gonna
worldwide
embarrass
jab. I don't
me.
want to embarrass you, man.
You're not
It's too,
embarrassing me.
I got too many facts, man. I got too many facts. All right. So here's my next question, man. And this is for the audience as well. Do you think black people are hypocrites when they protest against violence committed by white people?
I want to know your answer.
Let me see if anybody's we got
Yeah.
anything in the comments. In the comments, man, what do y'all think, man?
Because I know what I want to say.
Hey, say what you want to say, man. It ain't no wrong answer, man. Like it's do you think black people are hypocrites when they protest against violence committed by white people or the police? You throw that in
I
there.
was gonna say not just on white, because there be some black cops be involved in these murders that we have seen through the headline. But yes, we are. I
Okay.
put we in it. Yeah, we are hypocrites because we like to raise, as my mom would say, raise sand when it comes to mis wrongdoing.
Yeah,
But
bro.
when it comes,
Yeah, I think you're searching for mistreatment.
mistreatment, yeah.
Yeah.
We like to, as somebody say, jump and hang on the chandeliers
Yeah.
over, oh, the one I own, we got the fist like this, but, when we see that a black man murdered his whole family in Tennessee somewhere, we don't get in that. No. So, yes, I think we are hypocrites for that.
I say my answer is I think some people are hypocrites.
Yeah, not all.
And,
Yeah.
and I think some are not. And I think that a lot of times people think that black people are what's the word I'm looking for? Like monolithic, like we don't all think the same. You know,
Yeah.
we don't all vote the same way. We don't all like chicken and watermelon. I don't know. Maybe we all like chicken and watermelon, but we don't all eat the same foods. You know,
You sure about that?
you know what I'm saying? But no, but you know what I'm saying? Watermelon and chicken is a hit for me. But there are some people who don't eat it. But I'm just saying. But you know what I'm saying? I was actually, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, now you talking to my stomach now. Come on now.
I was actually, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of pun intended, but we are not all
Hypocrites.
of the same mind. That's why you can be black and you can be in the Republican Party,
Yeah.
or the Democratic Party, or you can be independent and you can have your own mind. But the thing is, even though we are individuals who have our own independent thinking, the truth of the matter is some people who look like us still cause other people to feel a certain way about us because of the way they act.
Yeah.
Because whether you want to admit it,
Come that judgment.
yeah, whether you want to admit it or whether you understand it or not, everybody is a leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody is an influencer. And when some people who look like me and you are on War Star or on Facebook or in Walmart fighting and acting crazy as all get out, it does not
It doesn't help.
it doesn't help because even though I don't act like that, even though I don't move like that, even though I don't endorse that,
We still get judged.
when somebody see me, they still gonna judge me because they saw someone who looked similar to me acting like an animal, you know, and so therefore we have to be mindful that how we conduct ourselves matter, and it matters beyond just us.
Especially when we have an opportunity to be in the right room with certain people. When I see that, when you put it in that way, it also remind me of this. You know, the first impression is the best impression.
Mm.
For me, how I act towards you the first time you meet me should be your impression of me once we talk again. But see, there have been times where some of us, and when I mean us, some black people, I've encountered with. There have been some times where just because of my hairstyle, I've been not say discriminated, but been judged as, well, he's from where these people from, you know.
Yeah, being profiled.
Yeah, being profile. So, you know, but when I start talking, or when I start saying, you know, certain things that, how should I say this, pique their curiosity, they'd be like,
Yeah, there's more to him than meets the eye.
yeah,
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. It's like a lot of times people they don't get a chance to meet you before they judge the book by the cover.
yeah,
You know, and that's important. Not just for white people not to judge black people that way, but black people don't need to judge white people that way.
right,
Because we can't assume
right.
everybody that's of a lighter complexion
It's racist,
is a racist,
right?
or that they got something against you just because you look different.
Or they live in the trailer park.
Yeah, or because they have a certain income. Because there are some people with a lot of money who are wicked. There are some people who are poor who have a great heart.
Yeah,
You know? And
they just not well. They're not just blessed with what the person that has a lot of money with. Sometimes,
yeah, no doubt. And you can't judge a person by their bank account or what they drive. None of that is a determination of whether or not
because you
a
could
person is a
drive.
good person.
Because you could drive the baddest car on the block, you could dress as one of the baddest, but you can still have, like, I don't know, I'm turning to my mom right now, like, ill will in your heart,
Yeah,
and you could still, but when you somebody that's, you know, you got a good personality about you, people very depend on your family, love you, and you might dress like a bum, you might drive a Cadillac or an old school car or whatever it is, you know, and you still have a heart about you, that goes a long way than the person that got all the money.
no doubt. Now, and Jaden, when we was talking about the fights and the World Star and all that stuff, it leads to another question that I had set up for tonight, man. And again, welcome everybody who's watching, and saying, keep bringing the comments and whatnot. But the question is here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Do we, as black people, glorify violence in our communities?
You ask a lot of tough questions, man.
No, I'm saying, do we? I'm saying, do we glorify violence in our communities?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, you think we do? Why do you feel that way?
Because when you look at in the era that we are in the social media era where I could pick up my phone right now and go on Instagram or social media, and I will see a fight and I see somebody be happy that the person lost. Mm-hmm. So yes, as people, not all black people, but people that I'm thinking in my head right now, yes, they do. We do. Yeah. We glorify that because especially when it's something could be so little, it could be resolved a different way, but the only way that they know, or some, I'm gonna put we, because I'm in it too. We know the only way they know or we know is through, putting up these or a gun. So some people do glorify violence.
Yeah, and I agree. And the thing is, this is the thing. Some people, sometimes there are two types of sins, right?
Mhm.
You have the sin of commission, you know what I'm saying, where you commit a sin, and then you have the sin of omission.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times people feel like I'm good because I didn't do this and didn't do that, but also we could be guilty of
By association.
yeah. Well, not just you can be guilty by association. I agree, but not just that. It's like we could be guilty because there's something we could have done or
Yeah.
said and we didn't do or say.
Right.
You know, like it's like if going back to the original stuff that we was talking about, it's like you see a crime being committed, you see someone being abused,
Yeah.
you know that that Uncle so and so had been touching on, you know what I'm saying, his nieces, and you didn't say anything. It's like you just as guilty as the person who committed the crime if you don't report it. You know, in a way.
Because sometimes we could be selfish.
No doubt.
In a sense. All I care is about what people think of me.
Mhm.
All I care is about how can I benefit from if I tell. Like if I tell the right type of people that Uncle what's the name been touching his daughters for 15 years, how could that benefit me? So
No doubt. I got you, sis. Hey, we got Madam D, you know what I'm saying, stopping the silence. I'm getting ready to send you the link right now. Let me get over here. Find you. I got you. All right, let me see.
but we
All right. And Madam D, she's actually a police officer. So I would love to hear her perspective on the conversation.
Come on now.
Yeah. So right now we're talking about the topic tonight is you know what I'm saying, do Black Lives Matter to Black people? Okay. And right now, you know what I'm saying, we're trying to get an answer to the question, do we as Black people glorify violence in our own communities? And sometimes we do, and sometimes it's like we endorse things and we don't realize we're endorsing things.
Right.
Because some of the music and the things that we watch and we listen to and we consume, the Bible says that be not deceived, evil communications corrupt good manners, you know? And a lot of times we let some things slide because the words that we listening to have a nice beat to it.
Yeah.
You know, and that ain't just started. You know what I'm saying? That's been like, man, I was listening to this XM radio station while I was driving earlier today. And they played they playing hip hop songs and stuff like that. And hold on, Ron said, yes, I believe we glorify violence in our own community based upon our actions, and that entails Black lives really don't matter to us. I appreciate that, Ron. I appreciate the comment. Hey,
and then I can say about that.
That's strong. That's strong. He said, I believe we glorify violence in our own community based upon our actions, and that entails Black lives really don't matter to us. And so, according to Ron, you know what I'm saying, yes, a lot of times we are being hypocrites.
Yeah.
All right. And so, but what I was saying is that when it came down to hold on. Oh, got my sister in the building. What's up, Madam D?
Hey, what's going on?
All right. We must have said something that you just had to, You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Listen, I was going through. I said, "Oh my God, I forgot the show on tonight." And then I was like, "Oh, we're talking about it. We're talking." I was like, "Okay." And then you said, "I said, oh my God, he gonna tear me up."
Oh no. You good. You good. You looking good, sis. We
Oh,
appreciate
thank you.
you.
Appreciate it, bro.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so I'm gonna let you get your point in, but I want to finish this thought because people are gonna say I didn't get to it. But what I was saying is I was listening to the radio and this song came on by Onyx, right? And that's my era. I'm 90s hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And in this song, and listen, in this song, I tell you, I'm a historian, man. Don't be mad because I have more knowledge than you, Jaden. Don't be mad.
I'm not mad.
So listen, man. The song said, "Throw your guns in the air and buck like you just don't care." You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
but all right.
no. I'm saying in the Onyx songs, you know what I'm saying? It was like it's a song called "Throw Your Guns Up," and so so this is back in the 90s, and it's like throw your guns in the air. You know what I'm saying? And I can't front when I was in that era, and I was listening to that, I was banging that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't representing Christ in no kind of way. All I know is I love that. The energy that it brought or whatever, I was rocking with it. But even back then, you know what I'm saying, we were glorifying something that's negative to people in our community. And a lot of rappers, they've been saying it for years, like if they do this, and even like with the battle rap, a lot of the battle rap, you got some rappers that's all they talk about is how many guns they got and how many times they're gonna shoot you, you know what I'm saying, in a verse. And we glorify it and we clap and we like, oh, you know what I'm saying, he got bars and he killed them or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in the battle. But what are we actually doing? You know what I'm saying? We're saying on one hand, you know what I'm saying, don't nobody need to hurt us, but then we glorifying us hurting us, you know?
I gotta get it out. I'm sorry, I gotta get this one out.
No, go ahead.
It'd be like this. Why does certain rappers that I would listen to appreciate it? Why are certain rappers that I listen to or certain rappers, you know what I mean? You will post on Instagram and say, hey, don't do this. You know, violence is never the answer. But if I could pull up a song from 10, 15, even sometimes 20 years ago, and you talking about the same thing that you telling us not to do, I'm not gonna listen to you because you just talked about, you just like, what are you doing? And that bothers me because it's like
I think
saying one thing and you doing another. So it's like
being a hypocrite. And I think, Jaden, I think the problem is one of the problems, and the reason why I brought that song up because back in the 90s when Onyx was out and there were other groups out, we even had a group called Smith and Wesson. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that about? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Boasting about shooting people, you know? And so, and a lot of these groups, they had good music that wasn't always violent or whatever. But during that era, there was a time where people would hear stuff like that and they were thinking, well, we can separate fiction from nonfiction. We know they ain't really doing all of that. But now today you have, especially these rappers out of Chicago and stuff doing drill music. These kids is really doing it. You know, they are really doing it. I mean, a lot of them in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, they was doing like NWA, when NWA came out, all that stuff they was rapping about, nobody on NWA had a criminal record. You know what I'm saying? But they were talking about the things that happened in their neighborhoods, you know? And so yeah, but
I wasn't interrupting anything.
Oh no, you good. But look, we lost Madam D for a sec. Hey, Madam D, get back. We need her to come back on because I want her to get her points in for real.
Yeah. That's why I was that's why I was saying I hope I didn't interrupt.
Oh no, you good. But yeah, but we definitely want her to get her points in. So when she's I'm sure she'll be back, but when she comes back, we'll plug her in. But I'm gonna go on to the next question here. Where is the line between snitching and reporting a crime?
telling you. It's a tough question, man. For me, it's really a tough question. The line between snitching and reporting a crime. People just snitched. I'm putting in quotes. People snitch on other people if they don't like them, for one, or if it's money involved. Now, reporting a crime, it's kind of, for me, what I want to say is kind of they say it's the same thing, but I do believe there is a line between that, because for me, people that get caught tells the people that snitch on them. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm trying to say, they confess that's a tough question. I know what I want to say. It's just not.
I'm curious to hear what people have to say on the sideline. What is the difference between snitching and reporting a crime? Or if you report a crime, are you a snitch because you report a crime?
Are you a snitch because you report a crime?
Because if you see a crime being committed in your community and you report it, does that automatically make you a snitch?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you a snitch because you're reporting a crime in the community. It does not make you a snitch.
I think another thing we have. This is a thing. I'm gonna say it like this. We have to define this. Like
we do.
What is a snitch? Because Jaden, you said that it doesn't, but to the people are afraid to report.
Yeah,
they view you as a snitch if you tell on them.
I said that earlier too.
Yeah, they view you as a snitch.
But it's hard because people is afraid to tell what happened because they fear for their own life. So they got to call that person. But how you afraid of? Now I'm about to get into it. How you afraid of your own life, but you quick to call somebody a snitch because they're not afraid? Like, I don't get that. That's the part I don't understand. People that is worrying about themselves, but you call this person a snitch.
This is what I feel about the definition of the word snitch. Okay. Or to answer the question, where's the line between snitching and reporting a crime? So by definition, a snitch is a person who is a partaker of the crime. And then when you get caught, they tell everything that happened to protect themselves, or they tell things that happen about other people to get out of a charge for themselves that may not be related. You know what I'm saying? That's a snitch because you are all criminals involved in crime. Yeah. You are a snitch. But a citizen who is out here and not involved in criminal activity, when they see a crime, they should be able to report that crime without any consequences. But we know. You know what I'm saying? We know it don't always go like that.
It don't. And that's why it was tough for me to answer, because it can see both sides of it. But when you get threatened, it's not even a threat, but when you in the interview room,
okay,
and you is part of the crime, you may not have shot the person, or you may not have helped part of the crime, but you were there, and you know what happened, and you seen it play by play. That's what I think makes you the snitch, like you said, because sometimes, like you said, they use it to get a lesser charge or
Yes.
to get a get out of jail free card.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of hard not for me to answer it now. It's not that. It's hard because when you look at it, when you report a crime, you're reporting, you know, because you care about like you said, you care about the community. You've seen this happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not just gonna let that get by. You know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. I got to tell what happened. But also that too, like, even if you're not even in the crime, they still can call you a snitch.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Uh-oh. She's back.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's back. So
No.
listen. She
I ain't
has
gonna say too much, y'all.
no, you're good. Look, she has some technical difficulties, but she's back. So sis, I know you had something you wanted to share, but Jaden was taking all your time. No, it was me. It was me. It's it.
No.
But no, I was just messing. I was
Here
just
you
messing.
We just
But
chopping it up.
yeah, but I did want you to get your point in that you was thinking about before you got off, Madam D. So the floor is yours.
Well, I just had a question because your topic was, do Black lives matter to Black people?
Yeah, do Black lives matter to Black people?
So I think the question is, do people matter to people?
Okay.
I don't care what color it is. I think, people have lost a sense of humility throughout the years, and I think it's for various reasons. A lot of factors has played into that separation from humanity and just the love of people. And I think the further we get to the whole family-oriented relationships, church culture, the true doctrine, I think a lot of that plays a part in people just not treating other people's right. So I think that's the main question for me. I don't care what color it is. I think that we as people, we lack that. Like we lack the love for each other. So, and I understand the question. I understand.
Yeah.
Into Black people.
No doubt.
I think it's beyond that. I think it's really just like, do humans' lives matter to other humans? Because that's really the main issue, regarding of what color that you may be. I think that's the main issue.
Yeah, no doubt, and I totally agree with you, Madam D. And that's the thing. Like sometimes we're trying to solve the bigger picture problem.
Yeah,
you know, which is ultimately, you know what I'm saying, everybody needs to love more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But because of the divisions and even the divisions within the divisions, it's like how can we get together as a whole? It's like how can we get together as a community if we don't first fix the family unit?
Right.
You know, and so every household needs to make sure that the people in my household are not a part of the problem.
Right.
And then when it comes down to Black people as a group of people, we gotta be able to say, okay, so we're over here loving each other and exemplifying what love is, and we're not over here harming each other.
Absolutely.
And because we're not over here harming each other, now we don't look like the hypocrites that we have been being.
True.
Because we're setting the example of the expectation of what is acceptable by the way we treat each other. Yeah. And when there's no love in the home,
right,
there's no love in the community. And
right.
When there's no love in the community, there's no love in the world. So that's ultimately what we want to get to. I'm so glad Madam D, you know what I'm saying, brought that up because that's what we need. You know what I'm saying? It sounds cliche, but what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And we don't have it.
No, we don't.
Yeah. We don't. And I wanted to say this and make it very quick. I know we have another point. I've been blessed to have mentors and a loving family.
Okay.
And to get me to where the point that I'm at now, I see that sometimes, even speaking from people in my age group, we don't have, because we in this, like you said, some of us is raising our own because parents and family, they walk out on this kid, or sometimes they run away and stuff like that. And for me, it's all about who you look up to. For me, I've been blessed to look up to a lot of people. Sarge, you've been, my teacher and my mentor, and also even within my own family, my two uncles, I've looked up to them a lot, and they have taught to me a lot. And then sometimes, it might not just be family; it could be another student, anybody that can at least give an encouraging word towards others. But like you said, the lack of care, it's just not here. It's just not here anymore in the world.
Jaden, you brought up you brought up a real good point. Did you want to say something, Madam D?
Yeah, but I can go after you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, when you said that, man, I'm hearing the Holy Spirit speak, man, because what you was talking was straight Bible, and because the Bible says that we are supposed to be, as believers, we're supposed to be a father to the fatherless. So when there are people who don't have certain things in place, you know what I'm saying? He said, let the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. I don't care if you are a white male, Chinese, or whatever. If your family and your stuff is together and you see somebody else's does not, you know what I'm saying? And you have the ability to step in and mentor and pour into them, you know what I'm saying? That's how we solve the world's problems. If you're black and there's a white person who's gone astray, and you have the ability to step in and be a mentor and help them, whether it's a male or female or whatever, you help them. You know what I'm saying? This is what God called us to do, and yes, there are problems, but we can fix some of these problems if we be obedient to what the word of God says and be a father to the fatherless and help the widow and those who are less fortunate. But go ahead, Madam D.
You know what? As the gentleman was talking, it hit me too. Like, we went away from this cross training. When I was growing up, like if I said anything that was out of line to somebody at my church or in my community, they would have slapped me and they told my daddy, and my daddy would have came back and punished me. And without question, and I think nowadays we gotten out of that community building families. Like, it wasn't like, okay, you somebody else's child, I can't talk to you or pour into you. No, nowadays it's like, okay, don't talk to my child, don't touch my child, don't fuss at my child, that's my child. Yeah. And that's how children, first of all, don't respect adults.
Yeah.
I see so many different reels about, family, kids disrespecting adults and all this stuff. It starts from your home, and letting them know, okay, if the dog talks to you this way, respect them and don't say nothing, or just come back and get me or whatever, but always respect an elder. But we've got out of that respect for adults, respecting for elders. And that's how we grow up stronger community too, that we can be able to talk to other people's children, or they can talk, or the adult can pour into the child without any pushback from the family. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big issue. I do see that we have gotten away from just the families just pouring into other families and be able to chastise them and to teach them.
I totally agree. I want to bring up another point that kind of goes in with all of this, and actually, excuse me, I think this will bring some balance to the conversation too, because I know we sound like Reggie on Nutty Professor. He said it's time to attack black, tonight, but that's not the goal, But sometimes we got to bring the switch out and, whoop on us, because if we need it, if we're wrong, we're wrong. But this is a couple of things I want to bring out, because when we talk about how the family unit is not where it needs to be and not where it needs to be, we can't talk about that and ignore the effects of slavery, so because even though slavery happened, like what, 400 years ago, whatnot, or 200 or something years ago, it still affects where black people are to this day. And this is why black people get frustrated when people of other races you know, they point the finger and they criticize, but part of it is like, we're like, well, your ancestors caused this problem for us because we don't have the wealth that some other people have because their families weren't separated and the father working on a plantation in South Carolina while the mother was in Georgia, you know? And so all of these things, and you know what I'm saying, when some of our ancestors didn't even make it because they were thrown overboard, they died and was just became shark food or whatever. Like it's so many things that when things happen, they don't happen in a vacuum, you know? And so when slavery happened, that was a bad thing. And we still feel some of the effects. We don't blame the people who live today for that, but all we're saying is that if you look at our situation is what it is because of some of the things that happened in history that were perpetrated by your ancestors. And so just like we have to take accountability, you know, say they have to take accountability, not for what they did, but for what their ancestors did. And then if they understand that and they're being fair about things, they might have some compassion for people who are not in the situation they're in and not think that every black person is struggling because they didn't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. You know what I'm saying? We didn't pull ourselves up by our bootstraps because your ancestors stole our boots, you know? So we do have to consider that. The other thing I want to bring up is the fact that you had groups like the Black Panthers. And when the Black Panthers came up, they originated because black people were being mistreated by the police and didn't have any defense from the police because the police were basically on the side of the racists, you know, and in the origins of police, their job was to keep slaves from running away, you know. It's evolved, and Madam D is in law enforcement and stuff. I know she knows the history and stuff like that. But originally, when the Black Panthers were formed, it was because the people in the community felt like they didn't have any other way of protecting themselves unless they came together. Now, spin off of the Black Panthers, you got the gangs. When the gangs first started, it was supposed to be a good thing to where these people are in the community policing their own community. Yeah. But when crack cocaine and other things came in, all of that stuff was out the window because the people who were calling themselves good, you know what I'm saying, and protectors of the community, they began to be at odds, you know what I'm saying, when crack hit Oakland, California and spread to other places. So there are some things that started out good, but now it's so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so it's been manipulated in such a way to where it's evolved into something that it was never intended to be. And now when you hear about gangs, you think nothing but negativity. Yeah. You know, and now when people think about the Black Panthers, you think nothing but negativity for some people, you know what I'm saying, who don't know the history. But these are things that we have to consider, you know, you know what I'm saying, the effects of things that happened in the past, how it's affecting people even to this day. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Okay. But how are we going to leave an inheritance to our grandchildren when we dead? You know, how are we going to leave an inheritance?
That again.
You know what I'm saying? The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. But what I'm saying is, how can a grandparent pass something on to his grandchildren when he's dead? Or how can a father or grandfather pass anything on when they spent the majority of their life incarcerated? And so all of these things, like when crack cocaine was flooded into the communities, it put people at odds to where they were killing each other because it was about the love of money and no longer the love of people. And that has been perpetuated, you know what I'm saying, since like the 70s or 80s, you know? And now the gangs and stuff has become something that's unrecognizable to the people who were the founders of it. Initially, it was supposed to be a good thing of people coming in the community. And that's going back to kind of what we was talking about before. Okay. All right, I understand. Hey, Madam D, you have any things you want to say before you get off real quick? I know you got to go.
No, I think we'll do another show for no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I really appreciate you jumping on tonight.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if there's going to be a part 2 to this or not, but let me see what time it is. Oh no, we're going to have to do a part 2 because it's a whole nother group of questions that I ain't even going to be able to get to. But I know you have to run. But thank you so much for coming on tonight. And before she gets off, everybody, I want you to matter of fact, you do your own commercial. Tell everybody about your page.
All right, go ahead and follow us on Stopping the Silence on Facebook and Instagram, Stopping the Silence _official. I have 4 shows. We have the masculine voices, we have the feminine voices, we have men to men, women to women. We have a panel of wonderful men and women of God that's wanting to answer your questions that you may be dealing with, life situations, family issues, relationship issues, whatever it may be. You don't have to struggle alone. So go ahead and submit your questions anonymously to my website, which is www.stoppingthe-silence.com, and you can submit your questions there and we'll answer them on the show. And I'm also an author of Escaping Death, and you may find that a book on Amazon. The book is about escaping death, and we all know that we cannot escape physical death, but if you understand what spiritual death, you will want to read the book. And also, escaping spiritual death will make you feel better about when you transition on to the next realm. So go ahead and get my book, Escaping Death, on Amazon and lulu.com. And go ahead and send me a DM if you want to be a special guest on our shows. We would love to have you.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam D. We'll see you next time. I know you have to run.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Man, that was awesome, man. I really appreciate her coming on the show tonight. All right. So we talked about last do we as Black people glorify violence in our own communities? And the consensus so far has been yes. All right. And then we talked about where's the line between snitching and reporting a crime? And then we talked about what is a snitch. And okay, so we talked about all of these things, but I want to bring up one last thing that we'll be able to cover tonight, and that is, what is a Black imposter? All right, what is what is a pro-Black imposter? What is a pro-Black imposter? Because there are a lot of people who claim to be pro-Black, but they work against, Black people and what's in their best interest. So here's my working definition. My working definition is a pro-Black imposter is a Black person who allows their image, words, or actions to help promote an anti-Black agenda. A Black person who allows their image, words, or actions to help promote an anti-Black agenda. All right. So who are some pro-Black imposters that you could think of?
Man, I don't really like him for real. I don't. He
Who's that? Who you thinking of?
Stephen A.
Stephen A. Smith?
He just don't make no sense sometimes, man.
All right. So Jaden says Stephen A. Smith is one. And
for sports, I'm gonna say this: for sports, he could be on the money, but politics and political things, sometimes you just got to. Sometimes.
Okay. Here's another one. And him and Stephen A. don't get along. Jason Whitlock.
But it takes crazy to know crazy. But okay. Yeah.
Jason Whitlock. They don't even get along. But Jason Whitlock, man, he's like, he's one of the most anti-Black people that I've seen on TV. You know what I'm saying? Along with the next person, Candace Owens. She makes a fool of herself. Yeah, she's trying to come back to the cookout, but we ain't having it right about now.
Don't even send her an invite.
All right. Who else? When we talk about politics, Tim Scott, Senator Tim Scott.
From South Carolina.
Yeah, for South Carolina, man. He was doing all that butt kissing for Trump, thinking that he was gonna be on the ticket, and now Trump's cabinet is whiter than snow. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? There might be one speck of pepper in that whole cabinet.
He said whiter than snow.
Yeah, cabinet whiter than snow. So yeah, but it's like people allow people to use them to get, you know what I'm saying, other black people to vote a certain way.
Yeah.
And then after they use you, they throw you away. All right, here's another pro-black imposter. Y'all might not like me for this one. Snoop Dogg.
Oh.
Snoop Dogg is a pro-black imposter. You know what I'm saying? For several reasons. One, you know what I'm saying, his content, you know what I'm saying, is not positive, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to black people. And also he went and did that thing at the White House, you know, along with the next guy, Nelly. Now y'all might think that they all right for going to the White House after, you know what I'm saying, the Felon 47, you know what I'm saying, was inaugurated and all of that stuff. But I think it's a bad thing. I think it makes you a pro-black imposter because you use black people and you use other people too, but you use the culture to build your wealth and to live in a manner that other people can't live.
Right.
But then when the black community needs you to stand up and be a representative and be a voice, because some people don't listen to people who don't have money like that, you know. But when you have a voice and you can stand up and make a statement, you choose to just I'm gonna do whatever I need to do that's gonna keep my money flowing. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, if you're gonna be an activist or if you're gonna be just a decent person in the community, you know what I'm saying, you have to suffer some things.
Yeah.
You know,
that's about people that was in your era. That's crazy. You talking about people that's in your era.
Yeah, no doubt. But look, we're gonna get to the new era. All these drill rappers, you know what I'm saying? If you sitting here and you got music and you rapping about and bragging about how you killing another black man and walking him down, you're a pro-black imposter. You know what I'm saying? You not for us.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they the record labels, you know what I'm saying, they choose a certain type of people with a certain amount of education and stuff for a reason, because they know that people who come from poverty and you look, the Bible says this, for a piece of bread will a man transgress. So people who come from nothing and you dangle something in front of them, they're some people will do anything, you know what I'm saying, just to get out of poverty, you know. And that, like, you know what I'm saying, they're doing a good thing, but you're not. You know, sometimes you got to be willing to turn some money down. You got to be willing to turn some deals down for the sake of righteousness. But ain't nobody talking about righteousness in their raps because it don't sell. You know, they'll talk about killing other black people because people are buying it.
Right.
All right. And I talked about gangbangers earlier, you know what I'm saying? Gangbangers, pro-black imposters, man. You cannot say that you for the people and you out here killing the people. You know? Yeah. It's impossible. All right. All right. Some more black. Who else are pro-black imposters? Donald Trump supporters. If you are African American and you voted for Donald Trump, 9.9 times out of 10, you are a pro-black imposter because you're supporting someone who has an anti-black agenda and a history of racism and discrimination against black people, who actually ran on an agenda letting you know that they were racist and that they were going to implement things that would hurt the black community, and they're following up on that. Some people are catching on now, but no, you not pro-black, you know. And there are some people who
they may have voted that way because they were anti Democrat or anti Kamala for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, you're aligning yourself with a person who was endorsed by the KKK. Let that sizzle in your spirit. All right. Who else is a pro-black imposter? Lil Wayne. Okay. Lil Wayne is a pro-black imposter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why? You know what I'm saying? People like him and who else? Boosie Badtail. All right.
That ain't what you want to say.
I know y'all gonna say something else, but I'm trying to keep it PG. All right. Like your boy Drake. I want to try to keep it PG.
Come on now.
All right.
Come on now.
So Boosie Badtail. These are people, and even those other, there were some other rappers that actually got on the campaign trail for Trump. And you know why they were on the campaign trail for Trump?
Just to get that black support.
No, it wasn't even for the black support. They were willing to sell out the black people because they were all felonies. Most of them felons. Most of them were facing charges, and they're like, if we support him, then maybe we get a pardon. You know, and you got people looking up to these guys, but they're criminals. They committed crimes, and they're like, as long as I get off, I don't care if we elect somebody who's gonna attack Social Security. You know, I don't care if we elect somebody who has a history of being a racist. I don't care if we elect somebody that's going to try to ship people to a prison overseas and talking about reopening Alcatraz, you know, saying to get rid of black and brown folk.
Right.
You know? And so these rappers don't care nothing about black people. That's why Snoop and Nelly were able to go to the White House and perform, because it ain't about, you know, say like Nelly, he tried to use the excuse that he was like, it's just an honor to be invited to the White House. Man, later for that, you know, because it ain't had nothing to do with that. The thing is, when you stand beside that man, you basically are bringing your fan base to him. You're telling people in your fan base that this dude is cool because he hung out with me.
Right.
And you can't ignore that and just say, well, I'm just going because if any president invite me, it's an honor to be at the White House. Some stuff you just got to turn down. All right. Now, I got a dishonorable mention right here. Saquon Barkley went to the White House. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles won the Super Bowl, visited. But not only did he go to the White House, he went and played golf with the man. So I love Saquon too, man, but I got a question mark by his name as a potential pro-black imposter now. You know what I'm saying? The boy ain't moving right. All right. So pro-black imposters can also be white people who pretend to support black people, but support people and agendas that are anti-black. Like there are people who say they for us, you know what I'm saying, but they policies say they against us.
They say they for the people, by the people.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, they say they for the people, but then they work against us. All right. Lastly, Donald Trump and other white politicians as well are pro-black imposters. If you don't believe me, go read Project 2025. You know what I'm saying? Even when he talked about made all these promises on the campaign trail about what he was going to do for HBCUs and all of that stuff. After he got elected, he reneged on all that stuff and started cutting opportunities and started attacking DEI and even putting pressure on DC, and they even destroyed the Black Lives Matter mural in DC. You know what I'm saying? What is pro-black about all of that? And if you look at his cabinet, like I said, it's whiter than snow. You know, you mean to tell me there ain't no good black people who are smart enough to do some of these things? And so yeah, pro-black imposters. And look, we're gonna end the show on this. Excuse me. I want to know y'all thoughts after we sign off. Y'all can comment. Is Saquon a pro-black imposter for visiting the White House and playing golf with the felon in chief? We want to hear what y'all think. But the show's going kind of long, so we getting ready to get out of here. Jaden, you got any last words before we get out?
Nothing. LeBron's the GOAT. Lakers in 5.
Oh my goodness. Hey man, make sure you stay on in the background after we get off. But man, ain't no Lakers in 5, and next year, hopefully, the Lakers get rid of LeBron. But listen,
I'm 5 next year. No,
listen, man, I'm no Republican, Democrat, or Independent. I'm on the Lord's side. Period. End of sentence. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all checking out the show. We catch y'all next time. Peace.